In the current crisis, have you found yourself wanting to pray, or have you found it harder to pray? In my experience, both of these are very common experiences in the moment of crisis. I think of a friend of mine whose daughter was born just around the same time as our firstborn, Tom. It was a complicated delivery. And I remember him saying to me afterwards, Andy, I don't know if I even believe in God, but I was praying to anyone I could think of that that little girl would be born okay. And that's many people's experience, that in the moment of crisis, we find ourselves crying out, wanting to be able to ask for help from someone bigger than ourselves. And let me say, if that is you, Jesus Christ described the God of the Bible, the Creator God, as being like a loving Father who hears our prayers and saves people who call out to him. And so, as a church at Fulwood Church, we would love to introduce you to this God. We'd love you to join us for one of our online services at fulwoodchurch.co.uk, and for you to consider the evidence that there really is a God who's worth crying out to in prayer. But it might be that you found in the current crisis that actually you're normally a praying person, but at the moment you're finding it harder to pray. You feel like you're overwhelmed by doubts and questions and fears and anxiety. And actually you feel like you need to get your head straight before you'd even want to pray to God. Let me say, if that's you, can I encourage you to talk to a trusted Christian friend about that? But more importantly still, can I encourage you to talk to God about that in prayer? It's been said that Christians often think of our hearts a bit like a sort of cup that gets filled up with anxiety or doubts and questions, and we feel like we need to empty out the cup before we can fill it up with faith and prayer. But actually, it's not really like that. Our hearts are more like weighing scales. They get weighed down by doubts and questions and fears and anxieties. And as we pray to God and ask for his help, it's like trust in God weighs on the other side of the weighing scale and lifts some of our burdens and questions and anxieties. Of course, it's right to express the questions and doubts that we have, but bring them to God in prayer. In Mark's Gospel, chapter 9, we're told about another father who was in desperate need of help for his child. And he went to Jesus, but he went full of doubts and questions and concerns. And he said to Jesus, I believe, help me to overcome my unbelief. Now, that is a brilliant prayer to be praying in the moment of crisis when we feel weighed down and we're not sure what to pray or if we even want to pray. Perhaps that needs to be our prayer at the moment. I believe, help my unbelief, help me to overcome it. Whoever you are, whatever your situation, as you watch this, let me encourage you to seize the moment at the end of this video and to talk to God in prayer. It doesn't have to be out loud. You could pray silently in your head, but tell God about your situation. Tell him how you feel and what's weighing you down, and ask him for help. Take the opportunity to speak to the God who hears and answers prayers, the God who helps us to overcome our unbelief.